Hey, everybody. Thank you all for coming out this afternoon. I'm Greg Bridges with KCSM Radio, and it is indeed an honor to be here and be a part of this today, to celebrate the life of one of our greats, a great friend, husband, father, and great musician, Brother Calvin Keys. Looking in your program, you'll read some of Calvin's biography, where he was born, who his parents and siblings were, his foundation in life and music, and where that legendary Calvin Keys cool started. You'll read names of some of the international giants that Calvin's played with, such as Jimmy Smith, Ray Charles, and Ahmad Jamal, just to name a few of these. These are some of the highlights. Some of the other highlights of Calvin's life will be told to us today by folks who knew Calvin and experienced different aspects of life with him. And along with all of that, we get to hear from some of the treasured, renowned musicians that we are blessed to have here in the Bay Area as neighbors and friends as they celebrate Calvin through music. We keep the spirits of our loved ones alive when we mention their names. So if you don't mind, please join me right now in saying Calvin Keys.
Calvin Keys.
Again, Calvin Keys.
Calvin Keys.
That brother is here with us. You know, one way of knowing a person's greatness is by hearing what their children have to say about them. So please welcome Calvin's daughter and son, Marela and Kevin.
5 years ago, the universe decided for me to move to California, and her. Both of them too, and my mom. I think my dad was the least with coming out here, but I know he wanted me out here. At the time, I had no idea that this was one of going to be the best decisions I've ever made. See, this was the first time that I've ever lived with this family, with my sister, my dad, and my mother. And hold on. I truly believe that it was in the cards for me to come here and spend up the last 5 years of his life with him. I learned so much about him, which in turn, I learned so much about myself, because it was things that I thought was unique to myself. And I would look at him and I'd be like, that's where I got that from? I was like, oh, wow. And obviously, I look like him just a tad bit, just a little bit. But you know, it's just been wonderful coming here and seeing everybody here, and I'm just ready to have this celebration about my dad. I had a lot of things written, but that's just the bottom line of it. I miss him, and I also want to say something to my mother. One thing that my dad did, he gave me 2 moms. And a lot of people can't say that. He gave me a mom that was my biological, and he gave me Maria. And I've known Maria ever since I've known my dad. And I just want to say I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I love all of you, because it's all about love. And it's all about love, and I'm about to, but his favorite word was beautiful, so I'm going to introduce my beautiful sister so you can let her talk and hear her tears.
Grandma said, if you're going to be a musician, go out there and be the best. and that you were. She also said, be careful for what you wish for, because it always comes true. And that it did. You always said, when I transition, don't y'all be crying and shit. Y'all have a celebration. Today, we celebrate your accomplishments, your impact on jazz music, on the community, on your friends, and on your family. Now, I can't promise you that we won't be crying, but I can promise that we are honoring what you wanted and will continue to celebrate the late, great Calvin Keys. If Dad was Earthside, the one thing he would say to all of this is beautiful. So if you don't mind joining me to send him some love, can I get a beautiful on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3.
This is a piece that was written by Dr. Glenn Pearson called Theme for Cal.
So let me tell you, in the last few years, I've been doing work. I'm an evolutionary anthropologist. I look at the past, the last few 100,000 years of human evolution, right? I'm going somewhere with this. Stay with me. And over the last few years, we've been digging up this site in South Africa, just outside of Johannesburg. It's deep, 120 feet under the ground, hundreds of feet down in there. You can check out the Netflix documentary if you want to really see this. And we're excavating these areas, digging out this place where our deep ancestors, 300,000 years ago, when their comrades, when their family members passed, they took them and they climbed deep, deep, deep into these dangerous, perilous, harrowing places, and they laid them to rest there. And we're trying to figure out what's going on. How is this happening? Why are they doing that? And so we're there doing this excavation. And when we're down there, it's hardcore and it's a little scary. And so we play music, right, while we're doing the work and digging stuff up and all this stuff. And 2 years ago, when I was down there doing it, before we made these incredible discoveries about what they actually did, we listened to Calvin. Down there, under the ground, communing over 300,000 years, we're listening to Electric Keys, Rhubarb Jam, Shanique. We were listening, and it was shaping the way we thought about stuff, and it came to us. We realized that what we were missing, we were thinking so structurally, so like, how did they bring the dead down? What were they doing? And we forgot to think about why they cared, why they felt this need, how they communicated that need. And Calvin's music was resonating across these underground caverns, shaping the way we thought about it. So, Shawnee, Electric Keys, Rhubarb Jam, and all of those showed us across 300,000 years, sharing space with each other and those other relatives, showed us that care and community and the rhythms that bind us together are the heart of what it means to be human. Calvin's music did in that day a lot more than our own science training did for us. Calvin showed us right in that moment across a couple days that led to some incredible discoveries that music, heart, and care are the time machine that bridges us back to our ancestors. Calvin was a man who knew that the vibe is how you bring folks together. And that is cool and it's beautiful.
Hello, family and friends. My name is Billy Osborne, and Calvin and I have been friends since 1969. We made our first records together in 1969, and the last record that Calvin was working on was with me. Together we were making his last record. Calvin and I talked on the phone every day. No matter what day it was, we talked about baseball, football, boxing, and stuff like that. And if we didn't talk for a while, we missed one another, and this is what the conversation sounded like. Here we are once again, you and me, my old friend. Yes, it's been a while, and I sure could use your smile. Might I say I missed you too? There's some changes I've been going through. You couldn't have called at a better time. You must have read my mind. You've been here since the beginning. You know me better than anyone. You know where I want to go, 'cause you know where I'm coming from. You've seen me at my weakest, when sometime I've had to compromise. But Calvin, you never questioned my lifestyle. You never criticized. And friends like
they've asked me to talk about something that was very near and dear to Calvin's heart, which is the Oakland Public Conservatory of Music, of which I am the proud founder. We are celebrating 18 years, this year, and many of those 18 years, Calvin Keys was there. Whatever you need, baby, just let me know. I'll come and teach the babies, because the babies need to know. Because the OPC is a beautiful thing. That's what he always used to say to me. And whenever I call him, he would say, "What you need from Calvin, baby?" I say, "Calvin, could you come and, be part of our faculty? We got some classes going on over at Edna Brewer Middle School and some other places." And that's him right there teaching on the right at Edna Brewer. He had a wonderful group of little black girls, of all people, that showed up to study with him. And then this is him at our original space on Franklin Street. Again, Calvin was always present, ever present with us. Calvin was probably, of all the musicians in the Bay Area that have come through the conservatory, one of the its staunchest supporters.
I'm lucky. 2 months before Calvin departed, or as he would say, make the transition, I looked at him and hugged him by the shoulder, and I told him words that are very sacred to me. They're sacred to my way of knowing. I told him, I have been and always shall be your friend. He was only the third person in my entire life I ever said that to. From my way of thinking, you have three things. You have your family, you have your friends, and you have your word. Try to keep all three. So I give my word to Maria and the family of Calvins that if I can help, I shall be there. And if I can't, I'll be at the side rooting you on. You might want to know, how did this friendship start? Well, it started because long before I met Calvin, there was this guy that I was taking guitar class with. His name was Willis O'Brien. Bless you, Willis. Thank you. And Willis said, hey, man, I'm taking lessons from this cat, Calvin Keys, and he is the real deal. You know? So, yeah? I said, okay. I am taking lessons from this cat, Calvin Keys, and he's the real deal. Okay, so I said, yeah, Willis, that's cool. He said, why don't you come over and get a lesson? Now, I said, yeah, at some point in time. Now, Willis passed away. He was only 47 years old at that time. And I went to the funeral, and over there was Calvin. And for gratis, he decided he liked Willis, and he started playing. Now, he didn't play a song. He just improvised as he played. I don't know, 15 minutes of just flowing stuff. And I walked over to him and I said, hey man, do you teach guitar? He said, yeah. Well, you want to learn to play? Yeah. So I tell you what, look, here's my card and we'll get together. So I said, all right, yeah, okay, we got that. So I went and I took a few lessons. I was one of the few people he would take checks from. He had gotten into the Ray Charles habit. Hey, you give me cash. I don't want none of this check stuff. I want none of this crap bouncing. You give me cash. So, but he looked at me and he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm an engineer. I got to smoke." Really? I'll take a check. So that's the way that went for a while. And then one day, he was playing, and he played 2 songs, and I love them to this day, and I play them. He played "All the Things You Are," and the way he does it, though, he does it in 6/8 time. He doesn't do it in the regular 4/4. La 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 la. So it's like a waltz. The song is 4/4 count. You do it your own way. And he did it. So I walk over to him. After that, I said, "Wow, man, that was so cool. Listen, I don't want to just be a writer, a song pop. I want to be a damn good guitarist. I'm going to steal every one of your licks." And he looked at me, he said, in his way, he looked at me and said, "Earl, I'm giving them to you. You don't have to steal them."
There's your birth family, and there's your extended family, the people you choose as your family. The Keys and the Grunwalds became part of my family. Marie and Calvin became the godparent parents to my twins. What is ironic is that over 32 years ago, Calvin performed at my son's funeral. The group he brought together included stellar musicians, such as the late, great Pharoah Saunders. This is the kind of man Calvin was, kind and generous and super cool. Today we honor, and I am speaking at his memorial. Extremely dapper, always positive, an incredible musician, Calvin looked at the bright side of life. Calvin didn't hide his light under a bushel. He lived his dream out loud to the fullest. The world saw his talent and recognized it. When he passed, he was on his way to the south of France to perform. Right up to the last minute, he was doing what he loved alongside the woman he loved. He worked with the who's who of America's greatest musicians and traveled the world with them. He was a mentor to so many people, both young musicians and older folks. His style, his talent, and his perspective on life are enduring inspiration for all of us. His legacy is undeniable. His song continues sweet.
One of the folks who knew Calvin best is going to speak to us right now. Mrs. Calvin Peace, let's welcome Maria Rosa.
Good evening, and again, in the words of Calvin, beautiful. Calvin is with us in spirit always, and with his guitar right here, with the orchids that were beautifully donated to us by family friends who are sitting close by. To my children, Marela and Kevin, you embody your dad. Your focus, clarity, and wisdom gives me strength. Please take what Calvin has given us as a father, friend, musician, and a citizen of the world, and weave it into your lives to make this a better place. As Marvin Gaye sang, you know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Good night and peace.
Mm-hmm.